Oh, internet. Okay, today we are going to rebuild a Reinhardt raccoon target. And one of the problems that you have with these guys is they have a replaceable insert system, which is great, but when the top and bottom get shot out, they fall apart. So I'm going to do a two-part video on this guy. I'm going to show one, how to repair the target so it's not falling apart, and two, how to paint it to look like not a beige raccoon. These targets really make me mad when they don't look, when they're not painted to what the animal should look like. Okay, so this guy, if you look at him, if we put the top together, this part is really pretty shot out and would be tough to repair effectively. And if we look at the bottom, right behind his legs is really shot out, but otherwise he's not in terrible shape. Let's see what the other side looks like. A few holes which we'll patch, but otherwise not in terrible shape. Okay, go ahead and kill it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to cut out this really bad part up here. Then we're going to pin it, and we're going to tape it, and we're going to kind of use plastic to make a drop cloth, or to use plastic drop cloth to make a mold for the great stuff. And we're also going to repair his ear. Okay, so if you look, this part, if you can spread it all apart, it's really torn up. Now, a tool I use a lot is just a bread knife. These things work great for cutting this kind of foam. So I'm just going to go back to where I get to decent foam, and I'm just going to cut that piece off. Now remember, keep this stuff. You can use it for fill, and it works great. Okay, so then I'm going to cut off the other piece up here, and then we're going to turn it off, and I'll come back. Okay, all I've done is I've cut out the really bad foam, and I've pinned everything in place with toothpicks. I'm going to clean out some of this really bad foam down here and on the other side too, and then I'll show you how I set up a mold for it. I'm going to make a spacer for this so that it'll be approximately at the right height. I'm just using some of the CVA foam. All right, toothpick. All right, and then all you do is and the toothpicks are handy because it kind of holds the, and this is just cheap plastic wrap that is super thin. You can also use saran wrap. I've used that a bunch. Now I just need to tape it in place so it won't go anywhere. So I'll show you one little bit of taping, but I'm assuming all you guys know how to use tape. And go ahead and try. Okay, this is a weird shaped target, and it's really hard to get the tape all the way around it. So I'm just using a stapler, just a standard household stapler. These staples will hold the tape in place and will not interfere with arrows. They're really easy to remove. They won't hurt anything. So I'm just stapling around my cutout area really well.
I wouldn't advise keeping them in.
All right, you can go ahead and turn.
Go.
Okay, so always shake this stuff really well, and also for 3D targets, always use gaps and cracks. Don't ever use the big crack stuff. It will not be dense enough to stop arrows. Okay, so first I've made the little thing and stapled. I've made the form for the spot. I just put a little hole in the foam, or in the plastic wrap, stick it in, and that will expand it to fill. Now I'm going to fill a couple of these little holes If you can get the... There we go. Okay, so now I need to tilt it up to the big hole on the top. So I just cut a little hole. Come on, get in there. There we go. And just fill the void. There we go. Okay, well, I got it, the foam can going. It's always easier to work on multiple projects. Okay, so I'm going to put some in around the insert. Just a little bit. This will help the hold the target together. And then anywhere where I have these little holes, I'm going to just put a little bit of stuff in there. Doesn't need to be a lot. Just
it does expand.
Yeah, it expands, and you'll cut that off. This is just to fill some of those little holes, just a little bit. Doesn't take a lot. I'm gonna do just a little bit too much. Just a teeny amount. Okay, we got to put the ear back on. So just squirt some under there. Not a lot. And we push it down, and we are going to hold it in place with the toothpick. Okay, so now we have to do just a little bit. Okay, so this spot right here isn't really big enough to put a plastic wrap over, so I'm going to use this kind of like a screed like you would in concrete, and this is just a little scrap piece of foam. So we just kind of fill the area, and then we're just going to lay that over and kind of press it in, and that'll push it into all the little nooks and crannies. Alright, you can go ahead and turn it off. Okay, so for the raccoon build, all we did was we cut out the bad foam. We used shrink wrap or some kind of plastic to cover the areas where we were going to foam. We pinned them with toothpicks and staples, and now it's sitting, and underneath the plastic wrap, the stuff normally takes 24 hours to cure, so we just set it over there out of the way. Now we're going to go back to work on the armadillo. Thank you.
So video's done.